to 1865, we think forward to the Civil Rights Movement as well. 1963, 1964, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 is actually anniversary is next week. So what I'm going to do is take you through a little spoken word this afternoon. Y'all who know me know that's what I'm all about. And for the last several weeks and months, I have been working on a new Dr. King piece. So you ain't never heard this one before. I'm pretty sure I'm the only person who knows this one. So normally when I'm on stage, I'm bringing you a little piece of that Freedom Day 100 years later, 1963, at the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, where Dr. King gave us a little bit of his dream for America and that beloved community, and where should we go from here. But when we take it back to 1865, when those Union soldiers, the American Army, showed up in Galveston, and then they told those slave holders that they no longer had control of that community, 250,000 African descendants who were still enslaved, they let those people go free, which became the Freedom Day. But the question is now, does anybody remember what happened after that? See, if you've never handled money, had economic freedom and prosperity, where do you go from here? Where do you go from here? And that's been a question that we've had for 150 plus years now. Where do we go from here? So when we get 100 years later to Dr. King and his ministry and his speeches all across this country, especially on the South and East Coast, he keeps asking, what do we do now? Where do we go from here? And about 6 months before he was killed and assassinated at 39 years old, he spoke to a group of junior high school students in Philadelphia, 1967. And he asked those young people, he said, you know what? As you build your lives, we've got to figure out where we go from here. Now that you're working toward adulthood and you're working toward the things that your mother and fathers never had access to, where are we going to go from here? So what I'm going to bring you this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, is that speech that he gave. A few years ago, somebody who was in the audience on the reel, y'all remember the reels? That's how they recorded them, 1967. That young student found that reel in his attic, now as a grown man. And he got it produced, gave it to a couple of libraries and some museums. And I'm going to bring you the speech that lays out the blueprint for where those children, where those families, and where we in 2024 can go from here. I want to ask you a question, and that is, what is in your life's blueprint? This is the most important and crucial period of your lives. For what you do now and what you decide now at this age may well determine which way your life shall go. And whenever a building is constructed, you usually have an architect who draws a blueprint. And that blueprint serves as the pattern, as the guide, as the model for those who are to build the building. And a building is not well erected without a good, sound, and solid blueprint.